Alright guys, so as I mentioned before, the ceilings in here are on a 212 pitch, and anytime you're working with a vaulted ceiling, framing walls gets a little bit more complicated. And what I'm going to do now is take my top plate here, and I've got my circular saw set up at a 45-degree angle, and what I'm going to do is just cut out this corner here, and that's going to allow me to, when I frame up my walls, here's the angle, I already cut it for a 212 pitch, it's like 9.5 degrees I believe. When I go to mount all of these walls, hopefully I can, alright, this might be a little bit better. So if I frame my wall without trimming off this corner, and then I go to hang my drywall, see that big gap in there? I'm trying to do this so you can see. At the bottom of the square there, you can see daylight shining through. So eliminating this corner, I'm going to take off this corner with my circular saw, will allow this square to sit absolutely flush, and it'll make drywall way easier. Now you can see I just removed this back square piece here, this little corner, and now when I go to hang my drywall, my studs are not going to get in the way because we removed that little lip there. So this would go on the top side of the wall, and the vault would be going in this direction, so it's kind of a reverse of what we're looking at. Alright guys, next I'm going to show you how to get your stud layout on your bottom and top plates. And for my walls inside, I'm going 16 inches on center, which is basically the most common spacing in walls in construction. Sometimes people go 24 inches on center in some cases, but 16 inches on center works great for drywall. Gives you a good surface to nail to every 16 inches. The layout on it is not hard, but there's a little bit of a trick to it to get your 16 inch on center marks. And what you do here, I'm going to move this camera and hopefully you guys will be able to see a little better. Alright, I'm just going to show the board. Alright, so here I have my bottom plate, and on your tape measure, if you're not good at math, you'll see red marks every 16 inches for you. So instead of marking right at 16 inches, what you're going to do is go to that 16 inch mark and then go back 3/4 of an inch, make your mark, and then put your stud on this side of it, okay? So you make your mark at 15 1/4 and then make your X on this side, so I know that when I go to set my stud in here, it's going to be on this side of the line. And then you go to your next red line, which is 32, measure back 3/4 of an inch, make your mark, and then put your X on the left side of that line. So I have two marks here. Let me zoom in so you can see that a little bit better. Sorry, you probably couldn't see that. Let me run that again. So I measured out 16 inches. Here's that red mark. Go back 3/4 of an inch to 15 1/4. And then make your line there. Then you go up another 16 inches, go back 3/4 of an inch to 31 1/4 and make your mark there. And then you put your X where the stud is actually going to sit. Then afterwards you take your square and you draw your lines in. And then when you're ready to nail your stud, you know that you're going to put your stud on that X so that it's flush with this line. I always like to make it so that I can actually see the edge of the line like that. You can just faintly see the black line there, and then you toenail it, or if you fabricate your walls on the floor, you can nail it from the bottom or the top. I'm going to go ahead and lay out all my lines on here, and then I can show you a quick trick to transfer it from the bottom to the top without having to remeasure everything. Also, now that you have your stud spacing the way you want it, if I were to lay out two studs here, let me grab another one, just a block, and I put them in and nail them, This is where it gets its name from. So when I measure these two from center to center, you get 16 inches. See that? So that's where the name 16 inches on center comes from. All of my studs will now be 16 inches on center by using this method. And then if you go to hang something up on the wall, you can find one stud, and then you know that over 16 inches from that stud, you will find the center of the next one. Now that I have my layout done on one of the plates, take your top plate, make sure it's flush on one end, then you just take your square, line it up with your mark, and then you can transfer that mark right over to that top plate without having to remeasure everything. I like to put the X there every time so I know where to put the stud. It's that easy, guys. It seems intimidating right away, but with a little practice, you'll get the hang of measuring over 16 inches, back 3/4 of an inch, and you can just run right through it really quick. Framing up walls really isn't difficult. Just take your time with your measurements so you don't get off on anything. Otherwise, your studs might end up leaning one way or the other, and we don't want that. Hope this helped with you guys at home doing whatever projects you're doing. Appreciate you watching. Alright, I just got this wall I've been working on all nailed together and ready to be lifted up. I've got my nailer on standby so I can reach around and tack it to the wall to hold it in place. It's just a matter of lifting it up, getting it on my mark, and tacking it down. So all these studs were cut at 9.5 degrees because this is a 212 pitch, and then I took that corner off of the top plate like I mentioned before. I'm going to lift this up quick. Wish me luck. I'm going to tack this in real quick, and you got to do a little bit of hammer work here to get it all lined up perfect, and then I'll tack it to the top trusses, and then I'll anchor it into the floor. I'll show you everything I do there. Alright guys, I got the wall up and tacked over on the far west wall there. I'm just going to make sure everything is plumb, and we're sitting pretty darn good here. Just got to nudge this a little bit at the bottom. Perfect. Once you get everything plumbed up, you can take a hammer drill. There's different ways to fasten to concrete. They make like a 22 caliber gun that nails little nails into it. I like using concrete anchors myself. So I'm going to drill into the concrete about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Then pound in one of those anchors and then fasten it tight. I'll show you the process. And that's all you have to do to fasten to the concrete. It's actually way easier than you'd think, and this wall isn't going anywhere. I'm going to run a few nails up into the trusses just to hold everything from the top from shifting left or right, and then this wall will be complete. What's up everybody? I'm about to lift what's going to be the largest wall I'll have to lift, so I'm a little bit nervous about that. It's one section of the wall that runs across the center of our house that divides everything up. I've got my pregnant wife on standby in case of emergency, but hopefully we don't need her for this one. Wish me luck. here though, I think. And over there. That wasn't so bad. Finishing up this wall is going to conclude this episode. Please let me know if you have any questions down in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. The house is coming along nicely. I can't wait to get some drywall up. See you next time.